What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Kingdom Built. I'm your host, Jaron Middleton, and I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank y'all so much for watching the first episode. I really appreciate it. It means a lot. I'm extremely grateful. Extremely grateful, man. It was, it was really, I would say, I guess it was just surreal. Just the moment of actually releasing the first episode after months of planning, after really just sitting down and talking with my friends and talking with my family and releasing a few clips here and there and kind of just gauging, the audience and seeing who all likes the content and just getting a better understanding on where, I need to better myself and just, like I said, just getting a good gauge and the first episode turned out really well. Even on TikTok, TikTok, that community is quite amazing. Just as far as the type of content that you search for or what you look at, you'll start to see more people, more aligned and doing the same thing that you're doing. So man, that TikTok community is great. Instagram as well too. I appreciate all my friends and family for sharing and liking the video, and thank you to all the people out there in the world, man, that that this video came across, that the other video came across, and just thank y'all, man. I really do. I appreciate y'all so much. So without further ado, let's dive right into the episode, man. We are going straight into it. Episode 2, Daily Bread. And again, like I said in the first episode, man, this is just going to be raw and uncut. We're not doing no edits. We ain't doing no clips. We're going straight through. So if I have a moment where I pause, that's only just because I want you to understand what I am saying, kind of just interpret what I'm saying, process everything that was being spoken. And then also, too, that's for me just to kind of formulate my thoughts as I continue through. I actually recorded this episode earlier this week. I did a recording yesterday, and then I did a recording on Monday. And I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't like it because of the flow and how I was speaking. I felt like I was it felt very robotic. It didn't feel as authentic as I needed it to be. And that's what I want to make sure that I'm giving you guys. I'm making sure that I'm giving you guys, I'm making sure that I am as authentic as possible when I am doing these things. I'm trying to be original with my content and what I speak on, because everything that I'm speaking on I'm speaking from experience. So, when I say specific things or talk about certain things, it's because I'm explaining it because I've experienced it, and I'm just out here just giving advice and just trying to make the world a better place. So, without further ado, let's dive into it. Episode 2, Daily Bread. Today's celestial tea, true blueberry, 1 packet, honey, and you're good to go. True blue is good. I did peach. Peach is very tricky. I'm not gonna lie, man. Peach is very tricky. Peach is good. 2 packets and honey. Okay, 2 packets and honey, and then it'll hit. Okay, that's good. So I'm gonna be going back and forth through my notes and kind of just reviewing some things, and then I'm just going to kind of just give my my experience based on what I have written down. But before I begin, since we are talking about discipline, I have something that I think is really cool. So this is called the Idea Space. And the Idea Space, they have a Twitter, Instagram, and a TikTok. And they have 100 daily meditation cards, a different type of meditation practices that you can do throughout 100 days. And each card has a different set of categories. So you have the Idea Space, breathing techniques, Zen, mindful living, stoicism, mindfulness basics, and meta loving kindness. And I've been doing these cards for a little bit. I actually stopped because I was kind of going through a bit of a depression cycle, and so I had actually stopped practicing these. But these meditation cards or these idea space, these meditation cards are very helpful. Especially when you are trying to better yourself, align yourself more with your purpose. It just overall, just working on just being a better human being and putting yourself in a growth mindset. These cards are very great, and they were gifted to me by a friend, and I really appreciate her um, for gifting this to me. Just because she was just trying to do her best by helping and putting me in a better space of a growth mindset. So I really do appreciate her, and it just goes to show you that friends will do whatever they have to do to make sure that you're good. So I appreciate that. Thank you, C. Moving on. So discipline is love for your future self. There is going to come a time in your life where you are going to hit rock bottom. And you have to understand, how are you going to get to where you need to be? All right. So the first episode, the first Daily Bread episode, we were talking about purpose, right? We were talking about purpose. As a man, you must have purpose in order to be able to navigate this life, in order to better yourself and to be a better man. There was a quote on here that said, discipline is the bridge between you and who God is calling you to be. That's deep. It is the bridge between you and who God is calling you to be. What exactly is God calling you to be? What are the steps and building blocks that you need to do in order to become the man that God envisions you to be? When we talk about discipline, we can go into the scientific term. We can, talk about the different, practices and techniques that you have to do. We could talk about the routines and the habits. But when we really break down discipline, when we really break it down, really all discipline is structure. But that's surface level when you think about it. If we look at it from a different perspective, discipline, in my opinion, is just showing up for yourself every single day when no one is around to clap for you. There's a lot of podcasts and motivational speaking that I listen to, and every person, they always talk about how there's the lonely chapter. There's a period in your life where you will be placed in isolation. And God has such a beautiful way of how he takes certain things out of your life. And I'm speaking from experience because this was me around this time last year in June. I went through a very dark time, and I was suffering from depression. I was, coping a lot as far as smoking weed. And, it became a point in my life where, I was just moving on autopilot. All right. And I was going on autopilot for such a long time. Even prior before that, I was going on autopilot. And me being on autopilot, I lost a sense of who I was. And my friends and relationship at the time, it suffered. A lot of things suffered. And so, just going back to what I was saying in the beginning, just as far as, how God, God, he will remove certain things in your life because he wants you to focus on you. When he removes certain things, certain people, and just places you on yourself, that is him warning you. That is him telling you, my son, my daughter, I need you to focus on me, because these things that are happening currently in your life is pulling you away from your purpose. It's pulling you away from where I need you to be. All right. So we experienced that lonely chapter. And that lonely chapter, I'm not gonna lie, it can be hard. It can be very hard. But how are you pushing yourself through and maintaining that? That is where discipline comes in. Right? Discipline is, in my opinion, from what I've experienced and what I've been doing, is self-control. Right? Being aware of your emotions, right? All right. Being aware of, of what's going on, right? Understanding that there is a goal, and there is a goal that you are trying to achieve. So your intent is to get from point A to point B. And during point A from point B, there is a transformation that is happening in between that. Right? Kevin Durant brought up I'm not gonna lie, man. KD, I love KD's growth and where he's at now. He was saying something that was very interesting on one of the podcasts with LeBron and LeBron and Steve Nash. And one thing that stood out to me, what he had said was, he had said that, I am setting the standard for my teammates and other players in the league. I believe KD is 36. And usually, around that time when you're 36 and you're a vet that's been in the game for such a long time, and you are an all-star, a superstar, a high caliber player, and you're still performing at a very high level, you have a certain stature, you have a certain standard. Like, there's certain status that you have in the league. And, of course you can get away with a lot of things because, you're that dude. But the approach that KD brought was that, I'm trying to set a standard for these players. So there's a lot of things that I do in order to maintain that standard. Right? He has a routine that he does every single day to stay on top of his game. That's discipline. He understands that, okay, well, man, in order for me to be great, in order for me to continue to maintain this dominance and to show everybody that I'm still Kevin Durant, my craft as far as what I do as a person, the little bitty things that I do each and every day is what's going to help maintain that. Discipline. You're working on the things, all right? You're working on those little things to help get you better each and every day. It takes effort, right? It takes effort. Effort is the most important thing, all right? Habits, certain things that you consistently do, as far as like stuff that that you need to change, like good habits and bad habits, right? And there's necessarily not a bad habit. There's no such thing as a bad habit. It's just a habit that you've done for so long that is prolonging your process. right? So, for example, before I dive into the next one, so for example, I was reading Atomic Habits, and they were talking about how people who smoke, who smoke cigarettes, they smoke because they are trying to calm down, excuse me, or relieve that stress within that time, right? But over a period of time, when you continue to keep smoking in the long run, it's not bad for you. It's bad for you, right? So as far as the craving is, oh, I want to continue. I want to smoke so that way I can calm down and settle my nerves. But in the long run, it's not good for you health wise. So what's a more healthy alternative that you can do that can change that quick instant craving that you want into a better craving health wise? Well, if you're stressed, how about you go outside for a walk, or go outside for a run, or play some video games, or read a book, or socialize with your friends? How are you creating better habits to help you, maintain that level of discipline, right? And then that is a good segue into consistency. You build momentum through repeated action, not emotion, right? You are continuing to get better at what you do, and you're not getting upset about it. You're not fretting about it, because at the end of the day, understand this, my brothers. Understand that there are going to be moments where you are going to fail, right? And when you fail, it is not a moment to where you are down on yourself. Do not beat yourself up. Give yourself grace, right? In order for you to learn, you have to fail, right? I'll be vulnerable and use myself as an example. Last year, there was a lot of things that I failed at. And there's a lot of people that I let down. As far as in my past relationship, I let my partner down by not being on top of my purpose, not communicating, not just handling business as a man, and not being able to, just not putting myself in a position that, that kept the relationship, secure. As far as where I was at with my job, right? I was working at a very good job, but felt like I wasn't really fulfilling a lot. So there was a lot of career changes that I was going through because I wasn't satisfied with where I was at, and I felt like I wasn't really fulfilling my purpose or doing what I thought was helping others, helping the world. But also too, that was me not pushing myself and going out there and trying to better myself. Again, I was living life on autopilot and not really learning from my failures, and understand and during those failures, being very upset with myself and being mad at myself and just soaking in my in my emotions and being like, man, like, it's always me, like, ain't nothing gonna get better. Envying other people. That's not good, because other people were being more successful and moving ahead of me as I stayed behind. And just looking at, well, I guess this is life. This is it. And no, that's not it. That's not life. That's not it. Brother, understand that when you fail, it is okay, because you are learning. Because just because you failed one time, right, does not mean that you may not fail again. But at least you are trying, and at least you are showing up for yourself. You have two options, all right? Option one, you could not do nothing, and you're for sure going to fail. And that's it. That's it. That's the only time you fail, bro. You fail when you quit and you don't keep pushing. Or the second option, you can try and you can either fail or you can succeed. So at least when you failed the first time, okay, that didn't work. All right, let me try another way. Okay, that didn't work. Let me try another way. Okay, that didn't work. Let me try another way. And as long as you continue to keep trying, you are going to succeed. Right? You have to stay consistent. You have to show effort. You have to continue to work on your good habits. And you have to show consistency in that. Understand that there are moments in time when you are working on your discipline, when you're working on your routine. There's going to be a lot of things that you have to revise and retool. There's a lot of things that you are going to be continuously to keep working on that you have to stay strong in, strong-minded. Continue to have faith and continue to lean on God's wisdom and knowledge. I have a quote from Proverbs that says, Proverbs 12, verse 1, whoever loves discipline loves knowledge. But whoever hates correction is stupid. The fact that you are loving the growth mindset, you are enjoying the human experience, you are enjoying this experience to want to continue to get better. That's beautiful. You love that. I love getting better. I love a challenge. I love when there's something that is placed in front of me and I'm just like, dang man, like how can I get past this? I take it as a challenge because that's just my competitive spirit. That's just who I am as a man. Because I have a purpose, I have a grind, and I'm more motivated and I'm able to continue to keep pushing myself because I've been through so much hell. From my point of view, I've been through quite a bit, but I'm still standing, still going, still pushing, still staying consistent, learning that, okay, I do need to put structure in my life. There are structures and pieces that I need to do in order to maintain and keep pushing. I have to stay studying in my word. I have to stay close to my word. Continue to stay grateful. Continue to pray to God. Continue to pray for strength. Continue to pray for endurance. Continue to pray for knowledge. Continue to ask God, who can I be a blessing towards? Who can I be a blessing for somebody in their life? How can I help change somebody's life the way you changed mine? There's so many things that I've learned all through him. And there's so much that you can learn as well too. You just have to understand when to flip the switch. And once that switch has been flipped, brother, life is going to be great. Because every moment you're going to enjoy, and every moment you're just going to thank God. God, thank you for teaching me this moment. Thank you. Right? A Stoic quote that I have here for effort, habits, and consistency from the great Marcus Aurelius. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. I know deep in my heart, I believe that I'm going to be the best man ever. That is how confident I am. Knowing that my past does not define me, knowing that my mistakes that I have committed in the past, those do not define who I am. I know who I am as a man, and I know my worth. And I'm going to continue to keep working hard every single day to be that version of a man that God envisions me. That he envisions. The version that he has shown me. The version that I'm working on currently right now. I'm so proud of myself. I really am, because I've came a long way. So brothers, understand that there's going to be a moment in time, man, where you are just going to sit back, whether if it's on a patio, whether if it's in your room, whether if it's with your girl, whether if it's sitting with your family, you're going to sit back and realize, man, dog, I'm so grateful. I'm so proud that I'm becoming this man that I'm seeing myself, that I'm seeing. It's going to be a great moment, and it's going to make you want to keep going and keep pushing, keep fighting. Because remember, there's nobody that is cheering you on. It's just you. You are your own fan. It's gonna be a slow clap of just one person telling you to keep pushing. You'll have your days. I have my days too. I do. Understand that we all have our days. We all have our days. But the moment when I have my days, when I experience my moments of sadness, I just pray. I just pray. I pray for strength. I pray that, God, I understand that, these moments are not my own thoughts. That is the devil trying to confuse me, trying to use my emotion against me. Malik, man, once again, purpose driven for purpose driven man. That boy Malik, man. He said that he said that emotion is just considered as a motion. It's passing through. That's deep, man. That's deep. Malik, shout out to you for that, brother. It's just emotion. It's just something that is flowing through you, right? Of course, emotions is something that that we're supposed to have, right? We're supposed to go through specific feelings of understanding, right? But just allow it to flow through you, right? When you're upset, allow it to pass through you. When you consistently work on that and understand that, okay, I'm working at getting better, you are maintaining that consistency. You are maintaining your discipline. You're being in control of your feelings. That's it. Discipline is about being the man you're proud of, even when no one is watching. Pretty much basically what I just said earlier, right? Three phases of discipline: initiation, engagement, and mastery. So pretty much just the same stuff that I was reiterating the same thing. What I was talking about earlier in the episode, initiation, engagement, and mastery. You are making the intent. You are making the intent of wanting to be a better man and wanting to, and so in order for you to do that, you are following God's teachings. You are applying yourself to wisdom and knowledge and making the transformation, right? So where the engagement piece comes in is you are making a focused effort on the change. That is where the discipline comes in. That is where you're locking in on the process. You are understanding that, okay, this is what I need to do in order to get to where I need to be. And then from there, you're just maintaining consistency and you're mastering that level of concentration daily. Now, keep in mind, during this process, it is okay to take breaks. It's okay to rest. Rest is also part of discipline as well, too. There's never been a point in time in life where you could just consistently just keep staying locked in at 100% every single day. That's hard. You have to allow your mind to rest. Allow your mind to be idle sometimes, right? Allow your mind to wander off, when, you're thinking about something and you don't quite have the answer. Sometimes it's good to step away and come back. Give yourself breaks, right? Sundays, this is also part of my routine. Sundays, I do a Sunday reset. I call it a Sunday reset or self-care Sundays. For those of you that watch Insecure, which is a really good show, by the way. Great show. Quite very relatable, especially what I have going on in my life too. But I just love how Issa Rae, how she used that to help reset herself for the week. Self-care Sundays, or reset Sundays as I call it. I do it in a way to pretty much reset my entire week and get ready for Monday. I'll wake up, make my bed, pray, meditate, make breakfast, do my skincare routine, take care of myself, brush my teeth and all the other stuff. And then as I finish that, I cut on some lo-fi or I'll play a podcast and I'll clean the house. And it takes me about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, but I clean the entire house. I clean the entire house because I'm resetting the week, and it gives me a sense of fulfillment knowing that, okay, this is my home. And in order for me to maintain positive energy, to maintain that consistency, I clean my home, and it feels really good. And after I'm done, I just sit back and I relax and I sip on my tea, or I'll watch some Netflix and just enjoy my Sunday. That's what I do on Sundays. That's my Sunday routine, my Sunday reset. Absolutely love it. Right? So, how are you able to use discipline in your daily life? You want to track your habits in a journal, right? You want to, write your progress. That's something that the Stoics talk about a lot. Marcus Aurelius, used to always talk about, when used to journal his habits and his time and his daily meditations throughout his life. And each day was always just a reflection on what happened that day and how he can better himself the next day. All right. And the best part about when you are reflecting on the day, you are reflecting on what worked and what didn't work, and how you were able to improve moving forward. Again, like I said, when you're doing your routine, right? When you're having your routine or your daily tasks or however you see fit, understand that there are going to be moments in your routine that needs some tweaks, right? If you're feeling sluggish from nighttime, maybe you need to go to bed a little bit early. If you're feeling sluggish in the morning, maybe you need to go to bed a little early. If you don't want to be in such a rush in the morning, maybe you need to prepare your clothes at night. Maybe you need to meal prep the night before, so that way everything is in a flow, in a constant flow where nothing is disrupting that. One thing that one of my friends we talked about, he said that he likes to be prepared for the unexpected. Right? For him, his preparation is key to everything. That's how he's able to move and navigate life, because he's very forgetful. So he likes to pack an extra bag just in case if he forgets something for work. He likes to meal prep the night before because he doesn't want to wake up trying to scramble making food in the morning. He likes to make his practice plans ahead of time as well too. So in case if he actually makes two practice plans. He makes a practice plan if the whole team is there, and then has another practice plan if only like a certain amount of the players are there, right? He's prepared. He's preparing himself for the unexpected, which is actually quite helpful in life for a lot of people, I believe. I think a lot of people should take on that same mindset and just be more prepared for unexpected events, and understand that when things do happen, you're able to adapt to it. And again, that's where that discipline comes into play, right? Because for motivation can get you going, right? Motivation can keep you pumped. It can get you going. It can keep you up, keep you, ready to like pumped, and you're like, yeah, I'm going to keep going. But at the same time, over time, motivation will fade. And as that motivation fades, so does your will to want to keep going. That's why your willpower and your intent and engagement has to be strong. You have to continue to stay consistent on specific things, so that way when that motivation does subside, where are you in that moment to where you're just like, all right, well, things are hard. Okay, I got to keep going. Prepare yourself. Be prepared. Be prepared for the unexpected, and adapt to it. Okay? I like this. Psychology of discipline. Excuse me. discipline isn't a fixed state. It's like the weather. It fluctuates. And discipline's gonna change. It's gonna change throughout time. Self-awareness helps identify distractions and optimize your productivity cycle. All right. Being self-aware is such a beautiful thing. A lot of us, again, when we are in autopilot, we are not aware of what's going on in our lives. One moment we are graduating from high school, then the next you're about to turn 35. Jeez. It's just see how fast life went, right? I was sitting on the couch and I told my mom that the other day. I was just like, man, we were talking about high school. My dad showed me a picture of me running track. It was at the district finals. I was running the open 400, and he saw the picture, and it was me. It was me and three other kids from other schools. It was the photo finish. All right. I came in fourth, if anyone's wondering. Those dudes were fast. Those were some good dudes. Those were some really good fast dudes, man. They were some good athletes. But I was sitting down and I was just like, man, like high school was such a long time ago. And, during that time, as I was getting older, my life was just on autopilot at times, and I didn't really just make myself aware of certain situations because I wasn't really enjoying specific moments. I was just kind of just not really in the moment. I was just outside the moment. I wasn't really as present. And, that's why I say, like, being self-aware, and identifying, distractions and really just being productive in certain moments, man. You'll begin to thank yourself in those moments. And, it was just a lot of stuff that I just didn't really prioritize. But I'm doing that now. And it's okay to start late. You can start right now. Start right now. Don't stop. Start right now. Start right now. Push when it's the hardest. Growth happens when you go further than you feel like going, right? Mental PRs are as valuable as physical ones. All right. Self-affirmations, man. Talk good about yourself. Man, when I cleaned my house, I was so happy. I wrote a little note right next to it, too. I said, man, good job, Jay. Because I was really proud of myself. I was happy. Those are self-victories. Man, be proud of yourself. Be happy when you do something good. Be happy when you successfully knock down a good habit. When you complete a task. Be happy with yourself. Be happy when you maintain your discipline. It's good. All right? It's good. Discipline equals freedom. Jocko. That's a good dude too. So here's some strategies that help you stay locked in. Journal daily wins and losses. All right. Block distractions. So make sure that you are blocking off designated work times. So when you are getting into your deep work throughout the day. So for me, for example, throughout the day, I block off specific times so that way I'm focusing on my deep work. So early in the morning, I believe from the time that I wake up at 7:30, going all the way to about 11:30, that time is blocked off. That is like my mindfulness time throughout that entire period, because I wake up in the morning. Again, like I said, I wake up in the morning, I make my bed. I wake up in the morning, I thank God, I make my bed, then I brush my teeth, do my skincare routine, make myself breakfast, get my dog some food, then take her outside to use the bathroom, bring her back inside, eat my breakfast, come back in, meditate and pray. After I finish that, put my clothes on to go work out for about 45 minutes to an hour, and then after that, come back in, shower, eat, journal for a little bit, and then begin my day with my schoolwork. And in between that, I make sure that I rest. Then I block off some more time for my schoolwork, about 2 hours, and then rest, and then work on my video editing. Put that about like an hour and 30, then rest again. Then, if I do have some more schoolwork, I'll dedicate maybe 30 minutes, right? Because I don't want to overload my brain. And then I'll do my nightly routine where I'm just lounging and relaxing for the rest of the day. Take a shower, read a book, reflect on read the Bible, reflect on my thoughts, journal, and kind of just relax for the rest of the day. That's kind of my nightly routine, and that's just how I limit myself, man. These phones can be a big distraction. You'd be surprised how distracted you get when you're on your phone. You can literally wake up in the morning and the first thing we do is grab our phone. I made it a habit now to where when I wake up in the morning, the phone is not the first thing I grab. If I'm grabbing my phone, I'm grabbing it to turn the alarm off. But I have it set where, screen time is on our phones, or we have these apps that can actually limit our access to our phone. I have it to where I'm limiting my access on my phone from 7:30 to 11:30. I'm not looking at my phone. I'm not looking at TikTok. I'm not looking at Instagram. I'm not looking at my text messages. I'm not allowing myself to be distracted. You can give yourself breaks. I give myself breaks on Instagram all the time. I'll deactivate my account and I just don't get on. I don't, because I have a goal. I'm grinding. I am getting to a place in my life now where, I don't need any distractions, right? Now, of course, I can get back on and socialize with my friends and family, because I do have friends and family on there, that I still speak to. But when it comes time to grind, when it comes time to lock in and focus, that phone gets put away, man. All right. I highly recommend it. All right. Use environment as a cue for focus. Clean space. Morning routines. I just told you my morning routine, man. All right. And I told you that I like to clean my house in order for me to be able to optimize my focus. And then reward yourself. When you do good, reward yourself, man. Give yourself a reward. Make sure that you are doing things that are that are good for you after you done completed all these great tasks. All right. So my challenge for you guys. We got homework. What's one area of your life that's waiting on you to be more disciplined? Right? Start small. Track your goals through the week. Start off small. Don't start big. Don't start wanting to do something humongous and thinking that, this is what I want to. No, start off small. And achieve that. And as you continue to keep working on that same thing, you'll begin to master it. Then move on to the next. Simple as that. Start your goals off small, then get bigger as you get better. Okay? And when you do that, your future self is going to love you. And they're going to appreciate you. Because you done did all the nitty gritty and grinded to the very end. Man, that was awesome, man. That was awesome sauce. That was awesome sauce. This episode was a little bit longer. I apologize. But hey, if you made it through this video, man, I appreciate you. I'm truly grateful, as always. This has been your Daily Bread episode. I'm your host, Jaron Middleton. Thank you guys for watching. And remember, 1% better each and every day. Much love. Peace.